The purpose of this group is to put people in a room together that would normally never be in a room together.
I used to shy away from property manager. I learned that when you get up to a certain number of units.
Wow, that was a good feeling. So I think that was 2012, 2013.
There are investors who are my clients that haven't even bought it yet.
We're gonna let Emil likes asking the questions more than answering the questions. So I'm gonna let him move to asking the questions. We're gonna pull up a couple of different people to talk. So next is Ricky. Where you at? He's gonna take my spot, and Emil's gonna ask him the same questions.
Well, if anybody is in the Facebook group, I'm pretty sure you have seen Ricky at least once in his signature hat day for his closing day. So first of all, congratulations on everything that happened for you this year. The story that he shared was your first meeting was last November?
Correct.
Okay, so he came to the Real, but you had already had a footprint in real estate investing. But you kind of set it out for a while, and then you jump back in it when you got into the meetup. So tell us a little bit about how your year was, mistakes, lessons learned, and then we're going to get into what's your plans for 2023.
Sounds good. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. Yeah, as Emil stated, my first meeting was last November to come to the Westbank group. And hats off to this group. It's fantastic. The information that I've learned in the past year. I live on the East Bank. Prior to that meeting in November, I didn't own anything on the West Bank. I came to that meeting with the interest in expanding my portfolio. At the time I came to that meeting, I had 12 singles on the East Bank, 3 of which I acquired after Ida. That were storm damage and rehabbed those. But when I came to that meeting in November, I didn't own anything over here. This year's been fantastic. It's been a lot of work and a lot of effort. But year to date, I've acquired 25 units. So I went from 12 units December of 21 to today I have 37. 22 of that 37 are on the West Bank. I acquired a 12-plex here in Gretna, also acquired an 8-plex in Gretna, and 2 singles, one in Marrero, one in West Wego. In addition to that, I have 10 units under contract, 8 on the East Bank, 2 additional on the West Bank that I'll acquire by mid-January. So you sit back and say, wow, how did he do that? What I did is I owned some of my East Bank properties free and clear last year, and I established a credit line. And how I acquired these additional 25 units this year was by using a burst strategy, buying property, fixing it up, renting it, and then refinancing, getting that money back, paying back my line, and then doing it again. And since I started doing this year, in addition to acquiring property, I try to have additional property in a pipeline. So for example, I just spoke about it. I have 10 units. That's the most units I've ever had in my pipeline, but it's only 3 properties. The 2 4-plexes come together. That's 2 singles individually. So, the main thing that I've learned as far as this year is some things that have helped me. It's like, okay, I single-handedly manage these properties with the use, I implemented a software program, so all of my leases are electronic, all of my rent payments are electronic. I don't have to go out and collect rent anymore. When I had 12 properties, I was collecting each one of those rent checks or cash, driving and picking it up every day. I don't do that anymore. But I implemented a software program that collects the rent, and it also, I do all my leases electronically as well.
Which software?
It's called Buildium. Cost me $138 a month for up to 50 units. And I'm still learning the software, but it's got several features, but the main 2 functions I use today is rent collections and executing leases, and also applications. I had a unit that I just filled this week that on the East Bank. Did application screening. The prospective tenant paid $25. 15 of that goes to do a credit check and background check, where Buildium sends it out to TransUnion, and they give you that feedback prior to you deciding if you want to rent it to them. So it's a great software program, and that's really helped me become efficient and be able to expand and scale to where that function is much more efficient and much more effective. You know, something else I did to acquire these additional properties prior to this year, you know, I was doing most of my business with one bank. I expanded that this year. Now I have 2 relationships with 2 local banks, and both of them are eager to lend and help me. So that's something else that I did to expand. Something else that I did that I want to highlight is, and if you don't have this, you need to really consider doing it, but I established a Home Depot Pro account. That has saved me this year alone $10,000 at Home Depot. You say, wow, how did you do that? Several ways. If you get a Home Depot Pro account, they have what they call Home Depot perks. So for every dollar you spend, they give you 4 points toward perks. This year alone, Home Depot has given me $1,000 in perks in the form of gift cards to just, you go to Home Depot, it's the app's on your phone, you can use those perks to make purchases. But excellent, as you're spending $5,000 increments, you earn a perk. So if you consider that basically that 4 points for every dollar spent, you spend $1,500, you're getting your first perk if you have a Home Depot Pro account. In addition, twice a year, Home Depot sends you a gift card of 2% of whatever you spent back. So I got a gift card mid-year for like $635. That's part of the program. In addition, paint products, paint brushes, anything you spend in a paint department, you get 20% off. One of the things you have to do, is to get the 20% perk. You can get the Home Depot Pro account without doing this, but if you join NOREA, they'll give you a code for the national NOREA that you add to your Pro account, and that makes you eligible for that 20% off on paint. So paint costs have really gone up. This is a way to save money. Like I said, I've saved $10,000. I went to my app today, and that's money I saved on purchasing products. Perfect. All right. The other thing, as far as what I've learned, especially with interest rates and everything, is to shop your insurance. Before I do, that's the first thing I do in my underwriting process is shop insurance, because you got to find out what flood zone the property's in, huge factor, and also shop that hazard insurance. On these multis, if you're considering purchasing multis, the only one writing on multis right now is Louisiana Citizens. So the brokers, there used to be 2 or 3 brokers that would write, and they've written policies for them on some of the earlier stuff I bought this year. So as you move forward to 2023, definitely shop, especially if you're looking at multis. The only thing out you can get out there right now is Louisiana Citizens, and it's high. The 2 multis that I have under contract in Kenner, the insurance alone is going to cost me $15,000 for hazard. So you really got to crunch the numbers on that stuff to make sure it works. Okay. As far as
Go ahead.
As far as 2023, as Emil spoke, don't over leverage. My key is to build that cash reserves, insurance. I'm expecting some of my insurance policies to double. Got to build that cash flow. I talked to my bank today. And first thing I'm doing January 1 is I'm going to establish escrow accounts I have 4 LLCs today, but I'm going to establish 4 new checking accounts, and I'm going to put money every month in escrow for my insurance and my taxes. And that money's going to come off the top. I'm going to pay the mortgage. I'm going to put that money in escrow just to have it in reserve, so when those policies are due, the money's going to be sitting there waiting for it. So that's something I'm going to do in 2023. I talked about insurance. One of the things I'm doing for 2023 is lowering my buy box. My buy box prior to this quarter was 200,000. I've lowered that to 150. The two singles I have under contract are both under 100,000. The prices are coming down. You can negotiate and get a lot better deals out there, but you have to because of the interest rates. So I've lowered my buy box, and I've found that the lower you can buy a single property, the more it's going to cash flow. So, you know, I own a property that I paid $300,000 for, and guess what? It's not cash flowing, and that's due to just the interest rates rising and what have you. So, take an example of one that is cash flowing nicely. I bought one in Slidell this year for $60,000. It rents for $1,600 a month. That property's cash flowing close to $1,000 a month. So, if you can buy low, you're still going to get a nice rent if you renovate the property nicely, and it's going to cash flow. So definitely going to lower my buy box. Something else as far as networking. I went to my first mastermind in September. It was a 2-day seminar. I learned a lot from it, but these groups, by far, the reason I got 37 properties today is because of these groups. Went to my first one in Baton Rouge last week. I'm planning on expanding, going to some in St. Tammany with Courtney next year. But definitely, the more you can attend these meetings, the more you're going to learn, and the more it's going to help you scale. And anybody in this room will gladly help you, and that's what it's all about.
Yep, thank you, Ricky. Go ahead and go, Ricky.